Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Jacob, and this is the False Prophet channel, where we get Islam destroyed and the false prophet of Islam, Muhammad, destroyed on a regular basis. And tonight, this is part 2 of the series, Sura 39:6, Scientific Error. Allah makes a huge mistake in the Quran. And people, the Muslims, boy, are they jumping out of their skin because they realize that this is a huge mistake. And the reason why I'm doing a part 2 is because it's something else I left out. The Spirit showed me something else. And we're going to show it to you tonight. And in the comment section under part 1, the Muslims, they've been going frantic. I mean, they've been trying every way to get out of it. But Brother Jacob, he has exposed them in every way possible. Anytime they come up with an excuse, Brother Jacob, through the Spirit of God, has been able to smash any excuse that the Muslims try to make. And in this episode, we will show you something else in verse 39:6 that will get Muhammad busted. But do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right back into it. Muslims, lift up your antennas, clear out your eyes, clear out your eardrums, because I got a challenge for the Muslims. And in the comment section, I challenged a Muslim to answer this question that I'm about to show you right now. Do you all know that Muslim avoided that question? I had to post the comment again. Do you know he ran again? He ran about 3 times from the question that I'm about to show you. And I'm about to present this question to the Muslims. And Muslims, I don't want you to run. I want you to man up. Be a man. Do whatever you got to do. Say alhamdulillah. Say whatever you got to do to answer this question. So is everybody looking? Okay, now that I have your attention, let Brother Jacob work. We're going to read from Sahih International, okay? We're going to be reading from Surah 39:6, okay? And it says, He created you. Let me highlight it so everyone will know what we are reading. Okay. He created you from one soul, then made from it its mate. And he produced for you from the grazing livestock 8 mates. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, within 3 darknesses. That is Allah, your Lord. To him belongs dominion. There is no deity except him. So how are you averted? Okay, so we all know that Allah is a liar because he is not a deity. He is nothing but Satan. But anyway, and also let's highlight something. This is the Sahih International Version translation. The last video, we read a different translation, but let me highlight something. The word that they have saying livestock, the reason why Sahih International, the reason why they translated it as livestock is because they know that camels are not cattle. So the people at Sahih International, and they big on making false translations. They do it all the time. And in the future, I'll do a video showing you the different ways that Sahih International lie in their translations. They have to lie to protect the non-Arabic speaking readers from seeing what the Arabic actually says. And the reason why they do that is because they're covering up contradictions in the Quran that they don't want the Westerner non-Arabic readers to know about, because it'll get Islam busted. So they do their best to hide the mistakes. They do the same things in the Hadith translations as well. They'll make false translations so you won't see the mistakes that Muhammad made. But anyway, the word that was used in the Arabic, like we showed in part 1, it doesn't translate to livestock. But that's okay. Because in the comment section under part 1, a lot of Muslims were saying, well, the word isn't cattle, it's livestock. They was thinking that by saying livestock, it gets them out of the hot seat, not realizing that, no, you still in trouble, Muslims. And we're going to show you in this video. So saying all of that to say, the word is not livestock. It's really cattle. For those who haven't seen part 1, you have to go to part 1 to get the full explanation of what I'm speaking about. Because in the tafsirs, the way they describe the 8 heads of cattle that it says Allah created, they say livestock because in the tafsir, they say that it equals out to 8 because it's saying that Allah created two cows, a male and a female, 2 sheep, a male and a female, 2 camels, a male and a female, and 2 bovines, which is a cow, a male and a female, which will equal out to 8. So when it says, let's read it again. He created for you. He created you from one soul. Then he made from it its mate, and he produced for you from the grazing livestock 8 mates. Okay? The reason why they changed the word from cattle to livestock, because when you read the tafsir, it says that the 8, one of the pairs is a male and a female camel. They realize that a camel doesn't work. It doesn't work out well to say a camel, because a camel does not have hoofs. You know how horses have hooves and sheep have hooves? A cattle has to have a hoof. So because they realize that a camel does not have a hoof, they changed the meaning to livestock, thinking that by changing it to livestock, it gets them out of the hot seat, but it doesn't. We're about to show you why. Now, as you see, it says, he created you from one soul, then he made from it its mate, and he produced for you from the grazing livestock 8 mates. So we broke down the 8 mates. The tafsir gives the explanation of these 8 mates. Okay? The Arabic does not say 8 mates. Okay, we are reading the as a matter of fact, let's read a better translation, because Sahih International, it tells a lot of lies. Let's read the William Pictall. This is more accurate. It's not completely accurate, but it says cattle like the word really is what the Arabic word word really says. Let's read the William Pictor translation. He created you from one being. Then from that being, he made its mate, and he have provided for you of cattle 8 kinds. Okay, let's highlight this part. He have provided for you of cattle 8 kinds. Now, as you see in the Sahih International Translation, what I was explaining to you, they translated the Arabic word that we showed you in part 1 to livestock, but it's really cattle. But like we said, the tafsir explanation, it doesn't work out well with the word cattle because camels don't have hoofs. So they had to change it to livestock. Okay? And as you saw in the Sahih International Translation, it said 8 mates. They was trying to connect it with the tafsir, which gave the explanation as to why the number is 8. And the tafsir explanation is because Allah created 4 pairs of these different type of animals: the cow, the sheep, the goat, and the camel, which equals out to 8. That's why Sahih International, let's show you. That's why Sahih International, they said 8 mates. Let me show you. That's false. That's a false translation. I'm telling y'all, people, these Muslims are some big liars. They lie about everything. That's a false translation. So let's go back to, it doesn't say 8 mates. It says, the verse really says cattle of 8 kinds. Okay? But we know, like we explained in part 1, and I'm giving everybody a heads up right now, to really get the gist of everything so you can know this argument, you have to look at part 1. This is part 2. I'm not going to go over everything that we spoke about in part 1 because that's being redundant. But to get the full gist of everything, you got to watch part 1 and then part 2 to connect all of the dots. Now, this translation is more accurate. It says cattle of 8 kinds. Now, we know that there are over 1,000 different types of cow that exist. Okay? But this verse says cattle of 8 kinds. That's why the Muslims had to create the tafsir, because the tafsir basically is the emergency cleanup squad to clear up the mistakes that Muhammad made. Because if you just read this verse like cattle 8 of 8 kinds, it says exactly what it says, that Allah created only 8 kinds of cattle. That would instantly get the Quran busted. That's why they had to come out with the tafsir to try to make reasoning for the blatant error that you see before you. That's the only thing why these tafsirs exist. For those of you who don't know, the Muslims came out with the tafsir system. Specifically, Ibn Kathir, when he came out with the tafsirs, it was to defend Islam against the Christians and the Jews during that time period who were scrutinizing Islam and getting the Muslims busted, just like I'm doing now. So that's why Ibn Kathir came out with his tafsir. And he came out years later after the life of Muhammad. And you can go look him up for yourself. But he lived like over 500 years after the life of Muhammad, when Ibn Kathir came about. So to understand Islam, you have to understand that it's a system of lies. And for each lie, the Muslim has to tell another lie. Just like you see, if you ever paid attention to the comment sections, you'll see how I get the Muslims busted. And every time you get them busted, they got to come up with another lie. And then they got to come up with another excuse. Because one thing about lies, a lie, it has a very short lifespan. And as soon as somebody exposes it, you got to breathe life into the lie all over again. And it's like it's like a continual process of having to lie and having to lie and having to lie. They practicing takia, in other words. So as you see, if they would have left it as cattle of 8 kinds, it would be too obvious to destroy. So they had to come out with a reasoning and said that 8 kinds mean 4 type of animals: cow, sheep, camel, and goat. And Allah made a male and female of each one of those animals, which equals to the 8 that you see. That was their reasoning to try to get away from the 8 kinds thing, because they know it's more than 8 type of cattle that exist, okay? But the Quran, as you see, it doesn't mention anything about a sheep, a cow, and goat. It doesn't mention anything like that in verse 39:6. So they had to add all of this extra stuff. Okay, but in this video, and I hate this thing is going on so long. I didn't even mean for it to be this long, but sometimes you got to be more wordy than you want to be to get your point across. But anyway, we about to go along with what the Muslims said, okay? Muslims, if you want the word to be livestock, let's play your game. Okay, the word is livestock. We're going to play your game, Muslims. The word is livestock, okay? We're going to play your game. Now, everybody, watch me get the Muslims busted. Now we got a question for the Muslims, okay? Let's read it like the Muslims want us to read it. He created for you from one being. He created you from one being, then from that being he made its mate, and he have provided for you of cattle, of livestock, 8 kinds. Okay? Cool, Muslims. We're gonna go over what you said. Now let's go to the tafsir. Let's go to the tafsirs. This is good. This is very, very good. We about to get them busted. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Brother Jacob. We about to get the Muslims busted real good. Now, Muslims, look. This is what the tafsir says. This is Ibn Abbas, official Muslim website, official tafsir. And let's show you Ibn Abbas' explanation for 39:6 when it speaks about the 8 kinds of cattle. This is what the tafsir says in its explanation. So as you see, and he have provided for you of cattle 8 kinds, of sheep, a male and a female, of goat, a male and a female, of camel, a male and a female, of bovines, a male and a female. Now, this is the grand question challenge for the Muslims. It says in the tafsir that Allah created a male and a female sheep, a male and a female goat, a male and a female camel, and a male and a female bovine. Now, everybody, listen to this. If it says that Allah only made a male and a female for each one of those 4 animals mentioned, then the question to the Muslims is, how on earth do we end up with all of the different types of sheep that exist in the world? How on earth do we end up with all of the different type of goats that exist in the world? How on earth, Muslims, do we end up with the various amount of camels that exist in the world? How on earth, Muslims, do we end up with over 1,000 different type of cows that exist in the world today, all throughout the world? Because in Africa, you have all different types of cattle. You have all different types of bovines, which is cows. You have all types of sheep. You have all types of different goats. You have all types of different camels. But if Allah only made a male and a female for each one of these four animals that were mentioned, that means in this world today, you would only have one type of sheep. You would only have one type of goat. You would only have one type of camel. And you would only have one type of cow that exists in this world. So to the Muslims, how on earth do we get all of these different variations when it says that Allah only created a male and a female for each one of those animals mentioned? Let me give you all an example. If God only created one German Shepherd male and one German Shepherd female, then guess what? Two German Shepherds can only produce German Shepherd dogs. Boo! Uh-oh, Abdul. If God only created two German Shepherds, then there would be no Labrador Retrievers. There would be no Huskies. There would be no Bulldogs. I'm running out of names. No Great Danes, no Poodles, no Chihuahua, no Bull Mastiffs. There wouldn't be any no Rottweilers. I can't even think of any more. Let me see. No German short-haired pointers. Yeah. For instance, German Shepherds, they have a lot of fur. So if Allah only made a male and a female of one type, like it says, to equal 8, then how do we get all of these other variations? That's a huge question that requires a huge answer, because the Muslims, they have to answer that question, because that's exactly what the Quran says. According to the tafsir, the meaning of 39:6 is that Allah created a male and a female. And if he only created a male and a female for each one of those animals that were mentioned, guess what, Muslims? Guess what, Abduls? You got to explain to us, how do we get the different variations? Do everybody understand? It doesn't make sense. So that means, you know what that means, Muslims? That means Allah is not the creator of all of the different types of those animals that were mentioned. Maybe you can say he is the creator of one of the types of these animals, but not all of them. No way he can be the creator of all of them, because he just told you he only made a male and a female for each group. And when you make a pair of the same type of animal, they can only create those type of animals. You're not going to get a furry dog like an old sheepdog from two hairless dogs that has less fur. They're not going to produce a large size old sheepdog. You know, the old sheepdogs, they got the hair that grows over the eyes. You're not going to get that type of dog from a Labrador Retriever. Does everybody understand? If Allah only created a male and a female lab, then he can't. Then how did the other dogs come about? And that's exactly what this verse is saying. So that in itself is another huge disaster in the Quran. So let's go back to yeah, that again, that in itself destroys that's a huge disaster, Muslims. That's a huge disaster. Let's go back to the verse. And in the Musin Khan, look what they wrote in the Musin Khan. And he has sent down for you cattle of 8 pairs. And they put in parentheses of the sheep, 2 male and female, of the goats, 2 male and female, of the oxen, 2 male and female, and of the camels, 2 male and female. So Muslims, you mean to tell us it's only one type of camel that exists? Woo! I don't think everybody hear what I'm saying. What brother Jacob is telling you right now destroys, it totally destroys Islam. It totally destroys Islam. This verse 39:6 is a complete, utter disaster. Everybody needs to make this video go viral. The Muslims have to tell us, how do we get all of the different types of sheep, camel, goats, oxen, if Allah only made a male and female for each one? That doesn't add up to science. It doesn't add up to biology. It's a complete disaster. Now, we're going to show you one last disaster that gets this verse destroyed, okay? Because it says that, notice everybody, it says that let's highlight it. He has sent down for you of cattle 8 pairs, okay? But guess what? The Muslims are saying it doesn't say livestock. Guess what? The Muslims are saying that it doesn't say cattle. They saying it says livestock. Okay, we're gonna hold them to their words. So if it say livestock, Muslims, watch how we about to get you busted again. We're going to stick with your argument and your excuse, and we still going to get you busted using your words. You ran from the word cattle and said it's not cattle, it's livestock, because you understood that camels don't have hoofs. So you had to say the translation isn't cattle, is livestock. Okay, we're going to hold you to that. So we're going to read it how the Muslims want us to read it. He has sent down for you of livestock 8 pairs. You want it to be livestock? We'll make it livestock. So Muslims, he only sent down livestock of 8 pairs, right? That's what you're saying. 2 sheep, 2 goats, 2 camels, and 2 cows. You want it to be that? We'll let it be that. Now watch how we about to get them busted. Now we about to prove Allah is a liar because he sent down more than 8, because it's more than 8 livestock that exist. And we about to show you. And we also prove that Allah cannot be the creator of everything, because he only made a male and a female of each one of those. And we already explained how the Muslims got to show us where the other types of camels and all of those different animals come from. So now let's go to the Quran. Let's pull up this verse. Like, share, and subscribe. We're about to bring this thing to an end. Okay, I'm looking for that verse. Surah 51:49. Okay. Let's show you. Let's read the Pt.2 translation. We'll go through these translations. Surah 51:49. It says, and all things, Muslims, we have created by pairs that happily ye may reflect. Yusuf Ali. And of everything we have created pairs that ye may receive instruction. Shakir. And of everything we have created pairs that you may be mindful. It's funny how every translation they switch it up a different way. Muhammad Sarwar. We have created everything in pairs so that perhaps you may take heed. Mohsin Khan. And of everything we have created pairs that you may remember. Arbery. And of everything created we two kinds, happily you will remember. So as you see, and we got to read Sahih International. And of all things we created two mates, perhaps you will remember. Oh, now it's perhaps you will remember. So Allah doesn't know for sure in the Sahih International translation. Woo! This is the craziest religion I ever seen in my life, man. Wow. Okay, let's go back to okay, as everyone just saw, Allah doesn't know. So perhaps, Muslims, perhaps you may know. Perhaps, Muslims, perhaps. Now let's go back to 36:9. Okay? Let's go back to the Pt.2 translation. Okay, Muslims, as you see, it says in 51:49, Allah created everything in pairs. Okay? Now, you Muslims are the ones who said you wanted this word right here, cattle. You said, Brother Jacob, it's not cattle. It's not cattle. It's livestock. Okay, cool. Livestock. Cool. We'll play that game. It's livestock. But as you just saw, as everybody, like everybody else, it says that in Surah 51:49, Allah created everything in pairs. Okay? Now, question for the Muslims. Are horses livestock? Are they grazing livestock? Yes or no? Yes or no, Muslims? The answer is yes. Okay? If horses are livestock, and since you said the word cattle should be livestock, then guess what? You just got Allah busted. Because Allah said, since you wanted the word to be livestock, it says, He hath provided for you livestock. Since you wanted to be livestock, we'll say livestock. Let me go back to it. Slight technical difficulty. Let's read it. He created you from one being, then that being he made its mate, and he have provided for you livestock. We're going to change the word cattle to livestock, like the Muslims said. Okay, we'll go with livestock, even though it was really cattle. But we just going to show them that any way you try to play the game, Muslims, I'm going to be right there. I'm going to still get you busted. Any way you try to go, you can't get out of the disaster of 39:6. There's no way out of it. He have provided for you livestock 8 kinds. Somebody is lying. Somebody is lying. Because horses are livestock. No Muslim can say a horse is not livestock. So by changing the word from cattle to livestock, now you have created another lie that Allah has told. Now see, if you would have just left it at cattle, but now you didn't create another lie. You have created another lie, trying to get out of one error in the Quran. You shed light on another error. We're just going along with your game, Muslims. So it says according to the Muslims, he has provided for you livestock 8 kinds. But Muslims, horses are livestock. So that means Allah has provided for you more than 8 kinds, because he says in 51:49, he created pairs of everything. Therefore, he created a male and female for horses as well, which also happen to be livestock. Boom! You see, Muslims, you see what y'all made me do? I didn't want to do this, but you know what? The Muslims kept nagging. They kept nagging, and they kept nagging, and they opened up another Pandora's box. So now they got to lie. Now they got to find out a way of how to get out of 51:49 saying that Allah created pairs of everything, which include horses. And since they said the word cattle was livestock, now they got to figure out a way of how to get out of 39:6 saying he only made 8 kinds of cattle. But horses are livestock. Now they got to figure out a way to get out of Allah saying he only made 8 kinds of livestock. Since they saying the word cattle was livestock, does everybody see what Brother Jacob is saying? This is a huge disaster. And not only that, they have to tell us, how do we get all of the different types of sheep, goats, cows, and camels? Since the verse said Allah only made a male and female for each one of those. And we all know that one breed of an animal cannot create every breed. It don't work like that. So you Muslims have created an even bigger disaster, all from telling a lie. Instead of just being truthful and saying, Brother Jacob, you are right. Surah 39:6, it doesn't make sense. But you know what, Brother Jacob? I don't know. I'll go ask my imam. I'll get back with you after we do more research. I don't know. The Quran says that some verses are clear, some verses are unclear. Maybe this is one of the unclear verses of Allah. And you know what, Muslims? I would have more respect for you if you would have did it like that, instead of trying to make up all of these lies, throwing all of these curveballs, changing the word from cattle to livestock, going all around the world. I don't respect people who do that. Instead of just being honest, you want to tell lies. But if you would have just said, Brother Jacob, I don't know. Can I get back with you on that? Honestly, I don't know. You got a good point, Brother Jacob. I can't answer that question. But do you think the Muslims do that? No. They have no humility. They egotistical, and they get themselves in more trouble, because the Bible says what? Pride goes before a fall. And they have failed tremendously in this verse, Surah 39:6. Surah 39:6. Now, I'm going to show you the last card that they try to pull out of their deck. We're going to show you the last thing they do. This is what they will pull up. One of the Muslims in my comment section, he went to IslamStackExchange.com, and they pulled up the definition for the word that was used in the Quran for 39:6, the word that was translated as cattle, okay? Because that created a huge problem for them, like we explained, because camels don't have hoofs. So this is what they are running to now, and we're going to get them busted. The Arabic word, and this is the Edward William Lane, this is what they run to, trying to get out of it. And we're going to show you how this doesn't help them. The Arabic word used here is anam. Here is how Edward William Lane has defined it in his lexicon. And this is from Islam Stack Exchange. This is a website that tries to get over the hurdles that are presented to Islam when people like myself expose Islam. And this is one of those sites that try to evade the problems and come up with these funny type of answers. You know how these Muslims do. But anyway, the Arabic word used here is anam. Here is how Edward William Lane has defined it in his lexicon. These type of livestock are categorized by the glorious Quran in the same way, i.e., 4 types of livestock. The word can be used for specific types of livestock. 4 types of livestock mentioned by Lane's lexicon and the glorious Quran. If you notice, you will see that glorious Quran talks about these 4 animals only and divided them into male and female in Surah Anam, verse 142 through 144. Surah Anam, verse 142, and of the grazing livestock are carriers of burdens, and those too small eat of what Allah has provided for you, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan, blah, blah, blah. Surah Anam, verse 143, Allah has created 8 pairs, 2 of sheep and 2 of goats. Surah Anam, verse 144, and he has created 2 of camels and 2 of oxen. So this makes it a total of 8 livestock, including the male and female of these livestock. Then it says, glorious Quran talks about these livestock in the context of these 4 livestock only, as Lane lexicon denotes that the word anam may specifically refer to these 4 livestock. These 4 livestock can be further divided into 2 categories, i.e. male and female, thus making a total of 8 livestock. So everybody, I know that was kind of boring, but this is what the Muslims are running to. And let me explain it to you real quick. I know that was boring, but anyway, this is an explanation from Islam Stack Exchange. Now, in 39.6, the word which is used is anam, this word. Okay? Now, this word, like we show in the tafsir, is translated as cattle. Okay? The Muslims saying that cattle is a problem because camels don't have hoofs. In some translations, they changed it to livestock. Okay? But I'm showing you this because Muslims run to this Edward William Lane translation because they think that this is an escape. But it's not an escape. And here is why. Because the word livestock, if anam is the word, if that's the Arabic word for livestock, you can't deduce a word to mean 4 type of livestock if more than 4 type of livestock exist. And that's why you will see right here it says anam may specifically refer to these 4 livestock. So it's not saying that that word actually mean those 4 livestock, the cow, the sheep, the goat, and the camels. It's saying it may specifically refer to those 4 livestock. And the reason why it says may, because it goes to this verse in the Quran, which is speaking about in Surah Anam, verse 142 through 144. This verse is about what Muslims can eat and what they cannot eat. And it gives you, and it says that Allah has created 8 pairs. 2 of sheep, 2 of goats, 2 of camels, and 2 of oxen. So the Muslims, in their attempts of trying to explain the meaning of 39:6, when it says 8, Allah created 8 kinds of cattle, they refer to 143, Surah Anam 143 and 144. And that's where they get the breakdown of the meaning for Surah 39:6 when it comes to what consists of those 8 kinds of cattle. Okay? Now, I'm saying all of that to say this. When it comes to these livestock, the Muslims, they run to this definition by Edward William Lane. By Edward William Lane. But this definition fails because guess why? Well, they tell you. Because it says it may specifically refer to these 4 livestocks. And the word may means a possibility. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. Allah uses that word all the time in the Quran. He says may. May always ends with a question mark. So the Muslims cannot use this as evidence. So when I said that, going back to the verse, because I had to show that. So when it says, and I know this video may be confusing to some people, but that's why it comes with a rewind button. You can hit pause and slow it down. So when it says he made for you of livestock 8 kinds, because we're going to go with livestock since that's what the Muslims wanted to use. We're just going to show them they still getting busted. They got another problem on their hands because it says, and he have provided for you of cattle 8 kinds. So if they saying that it's livestock of 8 kinds, we read you the other verse, I believe it was 51, 49, when Allah said he created everything in pairs. So horses are also a livestock. So that means 39:6 is a lie. That means Allah created more than 8 kinds of livestock. He created more than 4 pairs because horses are also a livestock. Does everybody understand now? So this gets verse 39:6 totally busted and destroyed. And we showed you why they can't use that William Edward Lane lexicon, because that says may. So they can't bring something that with a question mark up as evidence against what I'm saying. And then the reason why that doesn't make sense is because you can't say the word anam, which means livestock, according to the Muslims, according to the naysayers, the detractors. You can't say a word livestock means only 4 type of livestock. No language works like that. The Quran is not a book of science. So you Muslims mean to tell me that if you was having a general conversation with someone in Arabic about the selling and the purchasing or trading of livestock, and if I had some horses as livestock and cows and sheep and goat and rabbits, in a conversation, in a general conversation outside of the Quran, and if I said the word anam, or if someone said the word anam to me, am I to assume that when you say the word anam, you are not including horses as livestock? When the word anam means livestock, according to what you Muslims tell us what it means, that doesn't even make sense. But that's what these crazy Muslims are trying to say to get out of the disaster. Especially when we have shown you that the other verse says that Allah created everything in pairs. So now the Muslims, they have to make an account for why does it say he created 8 kinds of livestock when there are more than 8 kinds of livestock. That don't add up. Something is rotten in the cotton. So we have totally destroyed Islam. You see, if a verse is not specific in the wording, then guess what? You can't force your definition of something onto a verse just because someone gets you busted. That's being disingenuous. That's being dishonest. And you Muslims, you just have to accept it. Your Quran is full of holes and errors like I have exposed. You can't, if I said that I love dogs, dogs, then guess what? I can't tell you that the word dogs that I'm using only means 4 types of dogs. That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. But the reason why the Muslims are having to say that is because of this one verse, 39:6, because they know that more than 8 types of livestock exist. So in order to keep the Quran from getting busted, they have to try to make up new grammar rules and change the definitions of words just to save Muhammad's ass. That's basically what it boils down to. That's basically the point of this video. Muslims will twist the meanings of words. They will twist the meaning of grammar. They will do all of these mental gymnastics, flipping around and jumping all around just because the Quran messed up. That's the nature of Islam, people. They change grammar. They change the meanings of words. They change definitions. When it comes to Muhammad and the Quran, nothing matters to them. Logic becomes stupidity. 1 + 1, if the Quran says 1 + 1 is 3, and if you show a Muslim that 1 + 1 = 2, they will change the rules of mathematics to fit the error in the Quran. That's how Islam operates. It's a crazy religion that it's not based in logic. It's not based in reasoning. They are even told not to question the Quran. Even if something doesn't make sense, these Muslims, they are told that you are not supposed to question it. If it doesn't make sense, you just take it as it is. Allah knows best. I don't understand it. It doesn't add up to logic. It doesn't add up to mathematics. It doesn't add up to the rules of grammar. But none of that matters because this is what we were taught to believe since we were little children coming up in the masjid. And the frustration that these Muslims have is that when they encounter people from the Western world who happen to be thinkers and logical and who use reasoning, they get frustrated with us because we don't carry that same idiotic mindset of accepting illogical things as truth. And it's funny that the same scrutiny that they put the Bible under, they use logic when it comes to the Bible. When they trying to refute claims in the Bible, then all of a sudden they want to use logic and say this don't make sense, this don't make sense. But when it comes to their Quran, all of a sudden they hit the logic light switch off in their mind and they just accept stupidity. So without any more words, Muslims, I want you all to tell us, where do all of these different types of animals come from if Allah only made a male and a female sheep, a male and a female goat, a male and a female cow, and a male and a female camel? Then Muslims, we should have only one type of each one of those animals that I named in this world today. But guess what, Muslims? We have more than one type. We have thousands of different types of those animals that I named. But according to your Quran, we should have one type of each of those animals throughout this entire world. And everybody know that's not the case. And Muslims, we should have more than 8 kinds of livestock, because horses are also a livestock. So that's what I want you Muslims to tell us. Don't say nothing in the comment section, Muslims, if you can't tell us where do all of these different types of animals come from, because Allah said he only made a male and a female of each one of those animals that were mentioned. So you Muslims got to tell us where the other ones come from. Did another God create them? Because Allah certainly said he didn't create them. So what other God created those animals, Muslims? And with that, this is Brother Jacob. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is the False Prophet channel, where we get Islam busted and the false prophet of Islam, Muhammad, destroyed on a regular basis. And this is Brother Jacob signing out.